listen to on this. Welcome to the CrossFit Canada podcast, where we share stories of Canadian affiliate owners and coaches, as well as others along the way. But I'm excited for who we're going to talk to today. We have John Celestino. Did I pronounce that right?
Yeah, that's bang on. Good job.
Thank you. Thank you. From CrossFit Black Shamrock, and Whole Fit is your kind of main business name, or I'll let you tell that. But so introduce. We always like to start first. Introduce yourself, your business, and then we do a question of the day. And my question for you is, where the heck is it Lucan?
Yeah, Lucan, Ontario.
Where the heck is Lucan, Ontario? This will be our first question.
So I'm John Celestino. I'm from Lucan, Ontario. So our business, Whole Fit, and then our affiliate, CrossFit Black Shamrock, it's been around. I've been doing it for probably 11 years now, and then I took over another business, and it was like Whole Health Fitness. It's really wordy, so I shortened it down to Whole Fit, and then I took over in 2019, I believe, as the primary owner. We were affiliated for a little bit as CrossFit Kensho, and then just like changing of ownership, it just didn't work out for a little bit, and we reaffiliated about 3 years ago as CrossFit Black Shamrock. Lucan, Ontario is about 20 minutes north of London, Ontario, so kind of the classic London line is like 2 hours south of Toronto, 2 hours north of Detroit. So that's where we are on the map. And then it's just a small town, really Irish focus. If you know the story of the Black Donnellys, that's where the Black Donnellys are from, notorious criminal family in the southwestern Ontario area. So really Irish focus. So then that's why we went with like the Black Shamrock look, kind of homage to the local heritage.
Very cool. Yeah, I'm guessing because so like in Aurelia, we're an hour and 20 north of Toronto. So like anytime you're away from a big city, then like, oh yeah, where are you from? You're probably like, oh, we're near London. And then anyone who's like from that area is like, no, but like, where actually are you from?
Yeah, a lot of small towns around here right now. So it's a population of 3,000-5,000. One of the faster growing areas around the area. So it's been helpful for our overall business. Yeah.
That's cool. So I always like to, I kind of read your biography on your website, which is great, but I'd rather have you tell the story. I always like to find out from folks like what was your first CrossFit workout? When was it? What were you doing? And what was the workout, if you remember it?
Yeah, I do remember it. We were doing like CrossFit-esque things. It was more like of a boot camp gym when we first started. It was like boot camps in the park was our original business model, and then we found a location, started doing boot camp kind of stations for a bit. And then my friend and I, Rob Mitchell, we stumbled across like just like anyone on like YouTube or just the internet, and saw a CrossFit workout, and we're like, what's this CrossFit thing? It's so cool. I think it was Jackie off the top of my head. So what's that start with? The 50 is it 2K row? Or a K?
No, 1K. What 1K row? Yeah.
1K row, 50 thrusters, 50 pull-ups, and I didn't know how to kip or anything. So row was no problem. Thrusters were like, okay, this is kind of sucks with the empty barbell, but it's fine. And then it was like way too long. I didn't understand stimulus yet or any of the concepts of CrossFit. I just tried it, and I was like, oh, that was hard. But like, I think everyone when they first started is kind of like, oh, the goal is just to finish the workout, but it's like, no, there's a lot more to the methodology than just that. So I think it was Jackie.
Cool. And, yeah, for sure. And I mean, exactly like that first initial period of CrossFit, the first 10 years, I say like 10 years, like for those who started in like 2005 to 2008 into there, exactly. It was just like, hey, let's just pulverize ourselves with these workouts. But So you said you were kind of running a boot camp business, but before that, you I saw on your website you kind of just grew up in athletics entirely. So talk about that. And was that transition into CrossFit like helpful for you getting out of sports?
Yeah, absolutely. So all through my like childhood, I played hockey, baseball. Baseball became my primary sport around like 16, 17. Did a lot of traveling with it. Ended up going to the States on a scholarship, eventually full ride in Chicago, Illinois, South Side. So it was like right near the White Sox Stadium. It's a lot of fun. And then took biochemistry. So that's kind of where like my science background. Um, I was really interested in like the body and things like that. Um, Once I kind of figured out like the lab wasn't for me, I started to like really question what I was doing.
Sure.
And I was like, I'm gonna finish this anyway. So I finished my degree, came out of school not really knowing what I wanted to do. Still playing a little bit of ball, played I would say amateur professional baseball locally for the London Majors. It's now professional, but it was amateur at the time. And then played in Venezuela for a little bit.
Okay.
Um, so that passion for sport really transferred over to um, like a goal and having like targets and having like essentially like to some degree success and failure where you're measuring things. And then once I found CrossFit, um, it was like, oh, this makes sense because it was
Mm,
like you have these workouts that are time based, goal based, skill based, whatever it is, and you're trying to improve that upon periods of time and measuring that regularly so that you can see if your fitness is overall improving or decreasing. As we kind of know it, they both kind of occur in different elements of like the CrossFit um, principles, but
yeah.
that was the big piece that I enjoyed about CrossFit and getting into CrossFit is that measurement element and a little bit of competitiveness in like the community, and obviously right now the CrossFit Open and like little local comps and things like that too.
Well, and it's interesting that you mentioned that because as you like I'm fascinated that you got a full ride scholarship and still chose to like do biochemistry instead of like basket weaving or
Yeah,
VCR programming, right? So, but then one thing we like to talk about with CrossFit is like rooted in science, but I feel kind of douchey sometimes when I tell people that, and I'm like, no, it means like we define our terms, we measure everything, and then try to replicate the results. So it sounds like you had a natural fit for both of like the athletic side of things, but then like the fun side of the lab work, not the boring side of the lab work.
absolutely. Yeah, it's like that. Any sort of lab protocol following it if you can create the same results for over and over again in the system. So I think that system you kind of apply it to creating programs, working with clients on like little nutrition tips, things like that. And it's just like it really translated to like what I do as a gym owner and trainer now.
That's cool. So when you went from Jackie, you and a buddy trying to figure it out yourselves, and then what was your transition like either into doing CrossFit more regularly? Was it through an affiliate? And then I guess leading to like when did you get your level one and really start to say like, hey, I want to continue this a little bit more?
Yeah. Um, so I think it was that same year we're like, oh, the Open's coming up. It's 2016. So I did my first Open that year. Um, we didn't have high ceilings. I remember this. And there was like muscle ups and snatches in one of the workouts. So we literally like found a high enough soccer post. I
Okay.
don't even know if this is to standard.
Was this the 7 minute AMRAP
Yes.
of it was like
Yeah.
seven snatches and three muscle ups, bar
Yeah.
muscle ups?
Yeah. So I don't even know if this is the standard, but it's not like we were going to the game. So we were like, oh, let's just do it with this like this soccer post outside. So we are doing
Yeah.
like snatches outside and trying to rip off muscle ups on these like soccer posts. So we got a few there, and that was my first open workout. My CrossFit level, so getting more into CrossFit, my partner at the time, he got his CFL1. So like I would just like join classes and kind of learn that way. I didn't get my CFL1 until I'd say 2018, and I did it at CrossFit Mayhem, which was pretty cool,
Cool.
just to see the culture there. And I think that's when I started to like buy in to the methodology, because you just have to read through the handbook and you're like, oh, this makes way more sense. And then just seeing the culture that kind of occurs in a CFL1, like with like the seminar staff and how they organize the whole weekend, was really big. And then doing workout with all these different people at Mayhem. Um, the biggest, I'd say, turning point for me was my level 2,
Sure.
where you just like you learn to coach, and um, like the real like nitty gritty organization of the class, how you can motivate people through each little piece, just the seeing and cueing, how like fast cues should be. That was like the real like, oh, this is what everybody should be doing in some
Mhm.
capacity, like how quickly you can make changes in a short period of time.
Yeah, for sure. And that's cool that I did my level 2 at CrossFit Mayhem, coincidentally enough, but
Cool.
it was at the original location, not the big mecca. However, I have been to the big gym. I do want to circle back to that for a second, because do you think that's a really cool place to do your level 1? Because I feel like, one, you get to like be immersed in, as you say, like this, the way it's that weekend is executed, the way the information is delivered. But was there also a moment where you kind of look around at this like massive place and be like, this is what CrossFit could be if it, like it may, at the ultimate aspirational, but it's like,
Yeah.
this is what a CrossFit business could be. Did that sink home with you at all?
Yeah, absolutely. It's like a mecca, like the cathedral, like, like it's a huge space. And then I end up doing work out there, seeing how they are CrossFit Open is just like, just so organized. Everybody's just the numbers that are there are pretty crazy. Um, so like to see what like a great CrossFit business can be inspirational and like target capacity, and then just like, organize within um, um, your like environment and your clientele and population. I think it's really cool to be here.
So then, and you're breaking up a little, but I think I got the gist of it there. But so then but as you said, it was like for you, it was your level 2 that really like dialed things in. But so if you did your CFL1, and I'm doing the math, like if you did your CFL1 in 2018, if you were to wait until your 5 years, you'd be at 2023 to do your CFL2, but you also now have your CFL3. So you're not waiting because the math wouldn't shake out. You'd be still
Yeah.
waiting for your So I guess my long-winded way of saying, clearly, like, continuing your education is seems to be important to you as well. Okay, we're rolling. Anyone listening will have heard a small blip. We lost John to the Lucan email or internet storms, but no. But what we were talking about was your pursuit of your next level of education. So clearly that's important to you. Maybe dig into that a little bit more. When did you kind of realize like, hey, pursuing or continuing to grow in this is important to me?
Yeah. So I think just like my whole, school, baseball, everything has been like, what's like the next development stuff? I had a mentor one time say like, um, there's no like stability, there's only growth or decay. So if you're not looking to improve constantly and build new skills, then in some capacity, like you're regressing. So
Yeah,
I've taken that to like pretty well everything I do, and I got my CFL 1 in 2018. I think it was like more like 2022, maybe 2021 that I got my CFL 2. And then the CFL 3 was like maybe a year after that. I've had it almost, it's getting close to that 3-year mark where I have to renew.
sure.
That'll be September. So, um, yeah, once I like bought into like the methodology, it was like, okay, when can I actually get the next thing? And now I'm on the wait list, and I've been checking in regularly for the CFL 4.
Sure.
Missed that registration, but on the wait list for now until a spot opens up where I can pursue that next credential. So yeah, every time I've done one or the other, like I've definitely learned a lot, and it just takes your coaching to like the next level for sure.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, I was the same as you in that, like the L2 like really fired me up, and but I'll talk to other coaches and gym owners, and the L2 is can be stressful for them. You
Yeah,
know, they get through the weekend, and it is, and it's I think it's stressful because it's like it holds you accountable. But then I'll talk to people and they'll say, like I don't know if the L3, like the L2 was so stressful. I don't really want to go through the stress of the L3, but it's like what you say, like truly, it's like you're either improving or you're getting worse. Like there's very rarely in anything, even in our businesses, right? Like businesses are either growing or dying. And like
yeah,
our skills as coaches, we're either improving or we're falling back into habits.
yeah, absolutely. Um, it's like the bad habits thing, just like it catches everybody. I've noticed like every once in a while I'll do my own self audit, and it's just like, oh, I was doing that today. So um, just like trying to like even do some of your own self analysis is really important, to kind of like help with some sort of improvement when you're between credentials or like trying to improve yourself. Even just finding a coach, right? I know there's like the CrossFit coaches programs. I worked with one for a little bit, and they audit your whole class, and it's a good way to see like where you can improve time, cues, just interactions, little things like that.
Mm-hmm. I do want to actually. I'm interested in that a little bit more. So take me through your own self audit program or process.
Yeah, for sure. So like I find video is just the easiest way. You like just video your class, just set up a tripod, whatever, and that way it set up a mic so you could hear yourself on the video as well, like Bluetooth mic, and um, then you can see like what was your whiteboard debrief like, how many interactions did you have with each client, and you can kind of just watch it afterwards. Um, it's a little uncomfortable, obviously, like
Sure.
watching yourself and listening to yourself talk for an hour, but um, sometimes it's that like that discomfort is like good for growth. And like I'd say like, back to the CFL too, like if you're not used to feedback, it can be a really hard class. So feedback is something like I definitely like try to embrace as much as I can. It might not feel good in the moment, but then you're like, oh
Sure.
yeah, that makes sense. Once you step back with like put the ego aside, and um, let yourself kind of like work through that. Um, but yeah, I've pretty much just used don't have it here, but like the CrossFit Professional, they have a checklist. It's pretty good, free
Yeah.
resource. I'm pretty sure it just comes in our email, and then you just check off like how many times I talked to this person. Did I start on time? What was my timeline for whiteboard debrief, warm up? If you have a strength that day, strength piece. When did you start the WOD? Was there a teaching component? and then just like break it down piece by piece that way. Did I end on time? Did everybody get a cue? Just making sure like the product itself is clean and up to standard for providing the service that we provide to clients.
When you talk about old habits, what's something like you when you started doing this process, like, and I utilize the same kind of system with my own coaches because I can give a coach feedback, but I'm always like, you guys are going to be your harshest critics. Like,
Yeah.
so truly, like to just record yourself. One of my coaches, bless her heart, like the first time she ever did it, all of a sudden I get a text like, "Oh my God, stop talking, stop talking. Why am I still talking? Why won't I shut up?" I'm like, hey, go easy on yourself, but but if you feel that way, then maybe the members do once you watch it back. So is there something early on, and it could have been from your level 2 or after, where you're like, oh, I need to cut this out right away?
Yeah. I think it's just the big one I got from the level 2 was like the jargon, like just talking very
Mm,
technical and smart. And I think that just comes from like the science background too, and like just getting
sure.
all nerdy about, everything that we look at. And um, yeah, so just like cleaning up my cues. So that was a big one I worked on for a long time, and just being very direct about body part and movement. Like, you know, 3 to 5 word sentences at most, to like get a change. And then more recently, after doing some of that the coach work with Jocelyn actually,
Yeah.
um, was providing positive feedback. So I started to get really good at like cueing. That's like fix that, fix that, fix that, fix that. But it wasn't providing enough of like that's good, nice, overhead position, good depth, like even just simple things like that. So that's been one I'm trying to hammer a little bit more, just to like that positive reinforcement to keep the change.
Isn't it crazy how that little mind shift focus like changes your coaching entirely?
Yeah, yeah. I definitely noticed it like pretty early in terms of adding it, or the coaches or like the clients are like, "Oh, you're nice today." And it's like
Yeah.
you're not just like harping on my movement or whatever. It's like you're so I think everybody noticed it pretty quickly, and I definitely noticed just like, that whole shift in like the class community and the feel. So it was good.
Well, and because I work with a mentor as well, and he's on staff just like Jocelyn, and it's funny, that's exactly what he was helping me with as well. Because, like you said, like we want to be these, like I call them like a Q ninja. It's like boom,
Yeah,
this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, this
yeah,
is wrong, and but then it's like at the end of the day or at the end of class, you're like, well, did anyone get better? And then it's like, no, that's just everyone's like just frustrated. And it's like, why is no one getting better? It's like, because nobody has anything to anchor on of to like what's actually good.
good. Yeah,
But when you start making that perspective change of like, yeah, great job pressing up into the bar, then, Judy, who's beside her, is like, oh, I should press up into the bar as well. Is that what
yeah,
you noticed?
yeah, yeah. It's funny how many times like you could provide either a positive cue or just like a feedback cue, and then provide it vocally out loud as we do, like a audio cue, and all of a sudden like 3 people and then the other side of the room are like, oh, yeah, fixed. Like it just works, right? So
Yeah.
it's why the methodology works the way it does, and like why over time CrossFit has kind of developed these like good ways of doing it. So it's good.
And it's cool that you've, by leaning into like the process of like the CrossFit training kind of road, but then as well seeking out feedback and getting things, like, you're still focused on that, but your business of Whole Fit has other kind of branches on the tree, I guess, if we want to say.
Yeah,
So you're not like saying, oh, well, I'm not going to give CrossFit as I'm not going to avoid it because I have other things. It's like I can use some of the CrossFit principles probably to carry over into the other businesses. So talk about like Whole Fit overall and some of your other programs you have.
yeah. So whole fit is like um, as a whole is like we have our um, mostly athletic is the other branch, and then like semi-private is our other branch. So our athletic development, especially in like youth athletes, like that was a easy one to take like concepts of CrossFit and like that constantly varied functional fitness um, into developing young athletes. I just find, especially in this area, hockey is really big. I'm pretty sure all of Canada really, but
Yeah.
um, that sports specific training where everyone's like, oh, I just need to get better at hockey, 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 just like play hockey, all year round. And then you just start to see these like movement patterns that are like kind of repetitive use movement patterns where like tight adductors, they run funny because all they do is skate. So like providing these different movements to improve their overall athleticism has been a big kind of foundation of how we coach the youth athletes. We don't try to make it like just hockey specific anymore or like rugby specific, football, whatever. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
But like just having that overall athletic base and trying to touch all points, we're seeing a lot of our athletes, like improving on field because of it. And it, like it's in the CFL1, they talk about concepts like this where I forget the athletes they reference, but like their whole off season was just like CrossFit, and then they noticed like their flexibility improved, their strength improved, their conditioning improved, solely because they weren't doing the thing that they're doing most of the time. And I remember as kids, it was like, like for me, it was hockey in the winter, baseball in the summer, and that was like my training essentially. And it was like
Yeah.
that kind of created the balance I needed. Um, it was just different movements, different body parts throughout my season. So now we're using CrossFit to kind of do that same thing.
Yeah, I'm guessing like as you're saying to balance things out, like hockey's very like linear, either front to back, side to side, but baseball's a lot of rotation.
Yeah,
So to be able to balance those things out throughout the year, you get to stay well rounded. But I guess what I'm because there might be some people listening, the tens of people listening to this who are interested in sport specific. Well, sorry, interested in athletic or team training, but I think as you just kind of hinted at, the fault is thinking that you have to make CrossFit specific to hockey or specific to basketball or something. But as we're saying, like, no, CrossFit is a general physical preparedness program.
yeah,
So we actually need to stay in our lanes with that and realize, is all these sports have so many specific things, and these are still kids who need to develop as humans.
yeah. Especially in those younger age groups, I'm finding that like sports specific. I've talked with all sorts of coaches about it. Like you don't really have to get in that until you're like maybe 16 to 18, and you're like, I know I want to get a scholarship at whatever school, or go play at whatever university in Ontario. So before that, it's just GPP and like just learning to move better, and that's what CrossFit is, and it works great in creating like all sorts of different movement patterns. Like we do, like I would say, add like a little bit of rotation because rotation isn't like the most programmed movement in
Mhm.
CrossFit by any means. Like we squat, we deadlift, we snatch, we clean, pull-ups, push-ups. Like it's all like kind of forward, backwards, frontal plane. But I'd say like that's like if you're looking at sports specific and adding CrossFit, like that's like maybe the one thing you might want to add. But CrossFit as a whole is a great GPP program. If you like look at periodization, that's the first step for any athlete is GPP.
Mhm.
Um, so like just use it the way it is and watch like your athletes grow.
And how is that help to supplement the business side of things? Like, so because you have your CrossFit classes, but then how is it supplemented for you guys?
Yeah, it's been good. So like I think like you look at most like attendances, I guess, for like CrossFit type gyms. Um, like everyone talks about like the summer slump. Everyone's like out at the beach or barbecue or whatever. Um, it's been an easy thing to add in the summer to kind of offset any of that low attendance as a result of CrossFit or as a result of the season in with CrossFit. So hockey camps, baseball camps, just like speed camps for kids that just want to be faster. Just like little things like that are just an easy program to add. You can make them, just package based, like 12 sessions. You can make them like more of a membership based. We have a bit of both, and then we just kind of build based on like what coach availability we kind of have for each session group. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Is that something that you have like a singular or a couple coaches that take ownership of the program, or is it something that you spread around throughout the team and just kind of put it into your weekly schedule?
Yeah, I'd say it's primarily myself and Coach Devin. We've spent the most time in like I think athletics in the athletic world, so that's just been our like passion project. We enjoy it the most. The rest of the coaches are CrossFitters, I would say, and they love the CrossFit community and element that it brings, so they focus on that stuff. But yeah, Coach Devin and I are the primary like sport specific training coaches.
Yeah. And then I did see, kind of switching gears slightly, but just kind of pivoting, is it seems like, based on your website, you guys also have a program that's a little bit more lifestyle coaching as well, or lifestyle intervention. Is that right? Like the whole fit program, where you say like,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I think during COVID we did I think it's Nutrition RX. It's been a while since I did it. So yeah, I would say we implement that in we used to do like kind of challenge things, like it was just more habit based.
Mm-hmm.
I implement it more and nowadays into like just my like semi-private training.
Okay.
So yeah, you just go like when I meet a new member and they're looking to see what their goals are, what they're trying to achieve by coming to the gym and seeing us, why they walked in the door essentially. Just go through the checklist and see like, okay, it's like how often are you moving? What's your nutrition habits like? Everyone's gonna say like classic 7, 8 out of 10, even if
Yeah.
it isn't a 7, 8 out of 10.
Yeah.
But then you just like get more specific. Okay, like 10 is um, uh, CrossFit 100 words fitness to a T, and level 1 is like McDonald's every day, and then they give a better answer, but you don't really know until you have them like write it down and assess it, and you can provide. I kind of provide them like prescription essentially, and say like, okay, these are our services. Um, I would highly recommend at least like 3 months of this, so because based on the CrossFit pyramid, our base is nutrition. So we want to make sure you at least have some like fundamental understanding of like what you're trying to do to fuel your body and provide your body the energy and support it needs to achieve everything you want to achieve in the gym. So that would be like our lifestyle kind of approach and like service that we provide to our clients.
So it starts. If someone wants to join your gym, do they always sit down and talk first in some version of a air quote sales appointment, or?
Yep, yep. It's always some sort of conversation about like um, what their needs are, and then we find prescription based on like where they're at, what they're looking for. Um, Before I got into like the boot camp world, CrossFit world, right after school, I was at a commercial gym, so I
Okay.
did learn a lot about like the conversations kind of to have and like how to talk about that stuff. And, so it was a lot of skills that I kind of taken into owning the business as well.
I feel like, as CrossFit practitioners and affiliate owners, we look at like commercial gyms as like, the bad
Yeah,
guys. But there are so many skills that are taught in the bigger, more successful commercial gym world. Like, so, and you nailed it. Like, what are some of the things like from that sales conversation? Because I know for like every affiliate owner like yourself who's comfortable with sales because they have the training, there's probably going to be 5 or 10 who think poorly about it or just don't give it the credit it deserves, but realizing sales in CrossFit is almost like nutrition. It's like you need to build, you need the
yeah.
foundation to grow your business.
Yeah, absolutely. Otherwise, like the growth or decay, right? Businesses are growing
Yeah,
or dying. Yeah, lead generation was obviously the first step. Back then, it was just like it was cold calling and like walking through malls and talking to people. So it's like it's definitely a skill that like I don't want to go back to, but I have obviously.
sure.
Um, and then relationship building.
Okay.
So once you start getting some people like interested in the gym, it becomes like um, what other services can I provide you? What else can I do for you? And then like making the ask essentially for the transaction. Um, like obviously making them feel like they're heard and understood. Um, but like relationships is like the key to the business. But then having the know that like the worth of your product and the worth of essentially yourself to make the ask for the financial piece is like a big part of it. And that's like I would say mindset. If you don't understand that worth, then um, it's harder to make that ask for sure. But if you know all the time you've put in to understand the like what the fitness is all about, what CrossFit's all about, um, like the your personal education level, all that stuff, and then it's much easier to say like this is what I'm worth, like this is what I'm charging.
Yeah.
Like, what's your credit card number? Like the classic. No, you can make that ask. Some people don't, but it's just like when are we signing up? Essentially, yeah,
Well, and but you started it like with relationship building. Like really all like good sales is building that relationship, hearing, talking to that person and not telling them what CrossFit is, but asking them about them, their goals, what they want, what they've tried in the past. And then sales is actually really ethical because if you learn about them,
yeah,
then you learn if this is going to be right for them. And it's either if it doesn't sound right to them, it's just easy. It's like, hey, I don't think this is right for you, honestly. Or it's like, man, honestly, based on everything you're saying, I think CrossFit's perfect for you.
yeah. And you'll have conversations like that where you go through your assessment and your checklist and the nice thing about like our variety here is like typically have some sort of solution for them, but it might not be CrossFit. So if they're not looking to do, 3 classes with like 10 to, 8 to 12 other people, like um, that it might just be semi-private training, provide that
Mm.
solution. But if they're looking to be in a community where people are doing the same workout and everyone's kind of cheering each other on, then CrossFit's obviously for them. But once you know what they're looking for, it really is easy to provide a solution and make the ask for the sale. Yeah.
And for those who don't know, like your semi-private is going to be at a higher price point than your group classes. I'm guessing I'm guessing people probably upsell themselves into semi-private training more often than someone might think.
Yep. Especially like most people walk into the gym with like I would say aesthetic goals to some capacity, right? So especially when it's in that realm, yeah, and you're just having conversation, no different than we are about like how often have you tried to lose weight, put on muscle, whatever it is, um, and just like has it been hard for you? Like really caring about like their experience and their journey, then um, just like listen, like this is the product we have. Um, the what could be different this time is like I'm here. This is my experience.
Mm.
Really selling yourself as part of that product. And then they say, yeah, that sounds great. Usually,
Yeah.
and it's not always, yeah, but it's like, yeah, maybe I'll think about it, and then it's just like checking in with them after and doing those follow ups as well, because that's also part of the sales process. So, um, but yeah.
So, how do you then balance between being a business owner as well as a coach who's clearly passionate about this all And we haven't even talked about it, but as you said in our emails when we first were talking, is being a new dad, well, a second time new dad.
Yeah. I don't. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
No, I've actually, this is a skill I've been like working on a lot. It comes down to scheduling, blocking time. I'm a big block guy. If I blitz, the blitz becomes a block typically. So block and blitz, I'm just kind of saying words, but blitz, I mean like 30-minute intervals. Block, I mean like 2 hour intervals. Maybe blitz would be 15-minute intervals of time in my schedule. Um, so like I try to block more than anything, because if I get distracted on something I shouldn't be doing, I'll probably end up working on it longer than I should be.
Yeah.
Um, Setting like boundaries for myself is a big one as like the owner and like coach and everything like that. So making sure I set time for my family as part of that as well. Is like, this is the end of my day. I need to be home, by this time so I could help with everything. And really confining my, personal training to certain times and trying to create enough variety where I could reach the clients at specific time points as well. So um, obviously having a really good team helps too. And then like being confident in your skill to like coaching and like coach skills to your coaching staff,
Mhm.
is another one as well. Obviously like great anchor at home too. Like my wife organizes so much there. So having all of these pieces together really helps. So yeah.
Well, and that's what interests me about that is like I feel like going back to like your self-assessments of your coaching by watching your videos, there's a parallel skill of, for those who don't know what like time blocking is, I think like to put simply is like you put a section in your calendar for something, and anything else that is outside of that box is a hard no.
Yeah.
And it's that's easy to do. What's hard is to hold yourself accountable to stay within that block. And so I guess what you mean is a blitz, it's like, okay, so as we're recording this, it's 10:53. You're like, okay, I know that at 11 a.m. I do my accounting. So I can blitz for 7 minutes on like get a social media post out or something. But at 11 o'clock, I'm not sitting there scrolling and scheduling 5 more posts. I'm
Yeah.
switching gears to the thing I have blocked off.
Yeah, absolutely. And then prioritizing your day as well. So you're always going to have a list. It's just the fact of life in any element, home or and as a gym owner or as a coach. So knowing what has to be done like today, knowing what can wait, like a week, what can be done in like 24 to 48 hours. Um, I usually like label it ABC just to keep it simple. And then
Yeah.
having those kind of like skill sets as well is like really helped with balancing my life and not overwhelming myself with everything that constantly needs to be done. So yeah.
That yeah, it's I was listening to the best hour of their day guys, Ackerman and Fern, and they had talked about like the worst thing a gym owner can do is spend their time working on the second most important thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, and what, but you have to first see what like that first important thing is. And even for me, it was like realizing that an email received at 7 p.m. at night can wait until 9 a.m. the next day to get responded to.
Oh yeah. I've now like just blocked off time. Like this is the time I answer emails. I've seen things where you could like set auto replies. Like this is the time I answer my emails if it's really important, call or whatever. But
Yeah.
I just haven't making that step. It's been fine to just answer it at certain times. I've been good with that. But the one thing I was always kind of like remember or was taught kind of early in business was like, what's the one thing today that if you did would make the biggest difference in your life or in your gym? And I apply that to my coaching too. Like, what's the one thing you could do with your nutrition? What's the one thing you can do with your business? What's the one thing you can do with your your movement? even if it is a minute AMRAP push-ups, right? Like
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be complex. Just what's the one thing you can do today to make the biggest difference?
Well, it's like variance in CrossFit applied to like business and life, meaning like you're not going to do filthy 50 every single day because that will
Yeah,
create a bias towards that one stimulus,
healthy
that
50,
filthy,
yeah.
right? And so you have to have, and then like almost in your like life, like just live your business life and like couplets and triplets, like just do two. And I've never really articulated it this way, but it's like just do two or three
Yeah,
things a day, and it's okay to have a single modality business day where you work on one thing, and then and then you can have a blitz day or a chipper day of a fight gone bad style, and
just
just
everything. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, you just get after it and go from there. um no, that's cool. And so one thing I did want to talk to you about was, because I think how I more or less found your gym was, it seems like the open was important to you early on. As you said, 2016, your kind of first open that you remember. Is it still something that's important to you as a business? And you guys, how do you guys push the open at your affiliate?
Yeah, we're doing the open right now as an affiliate. It's been a different open for me this year,
Okay.
with having a newborn like 2 weeks ago. So I've been less involved, which has been interesting. But yeah, we're doing like a survivor theme. So there's like a little bit of immunity on the leaderboard and things like that. It's been kind of fun. Usually have some sort of closeout party at the end of it. But last year, or yeah, we still do it. I remember the levels were really big push last year, so we kind of
Okay.
used the levels as like the motivator to do it, and just like ultimately like seeing where your fitness is at annually. It's our annual test of fitness. So um, yeah, that's been our big kind of push to as to why to do it, and it's been my kind of reason to do it annually wherever I'm at with my fitness journey. Like definitely less trained, I would say, right now with the
Yeah.
family stuff. But and that's okay. It's just it's that point, it's that data point in your life graph, like the um, average power over time over your life, and then you can kind of see that and kind of make changes as necessary, kind of as I'm moving forward through my own progressions. Um, Pretty well everyone's doing the open this year that it's in the CrossFit classes. We even have our seniors class, we call it Elixir. They do CrossFit as well. They're involved, and they're doing their scaled versions and everything like that. We
Yeah.
have teens doing it as well, and they're in their scaled version. So it's been cool to see everyone at the different age groups kind of getting together and cheering each other on and making it a community connection kind of event. So yeah.
That's cool. um Yeah, so if you talk about levels, did you guys do the community cup last year? Because it was June last year. I know this year
Yeah.
it's being moved to August, but that was the first time, at least I've seen, where it's in my own experience, where I was like, oh, okay, now we're taking this level system, and that's going to determine what your community cup workout was. And I thought it was really cool.
Yeah, I personally did it. We had a few athletes do it. I would say like a very small percentage of our gym is like competition focused in the
Sure.
CrossFit world. Um, but like what we really pushed it as is like this is kind of like maybe how we can use it as like where we should maybe like look at skills in this level, skills in this level, skills in this level. And I made like this chart, and this is maybe what we should be working towards in terms of progressing. So like I think or like for the pros it's like certain times, like the
Sure.
level nines and things like that. But like the earlier skills, it's like, okay, well, everything was like ring rows and um, jumping pull ups. It's like, okay, maybe this year your goal is to like get a kipping pull up. And we actually had a few last on 26.2 get their first chest bar, a few people
Cool.
get their first full pull up. So it was cool to see like they kind of set that goal from last open, and now they've gotten a few reps. And you hear the same things like, I got those skills, and then I got this harder skill to work on. I'm like, yeah, that's just fitness in life. Like now it's like, what's next? It's like celebrate, the moment, enjoy that you got those things. And now it's like, okay, what's the next the thing we're gonna work on? So yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. So on that note, kind of wrapping up for you, what are some goals that you have for your business and your affiliate? And like what's, as you say, as we're recording this, the open announcement will be in 4 hours. But
Yeah.
not just this summer, but like what are some things you see, especially now with a young family? What's your kind of goals as an affiliate owner?
Yeah. I think my biggest goal this year, and I've told my coaches, is and I've thought about this for a few years, since I had my first, is like start to develop a CrossFit Kids program.
Cool.
I wanted to get it kind of going as my kids kind of got into it, so I could just like spend more time with them at the gym and have something for them to do here. So I'd say that's my biggest goal for this year, is to provide a CrossFit Kids program. Um, and then in terms of like business and things like that, like the sports side has been good, and we're just going to keep developing that. I do have like some like more sports specific goals, I would say, than CrossFit goals this year, other than the CrossFit Kids. So yeah.
Cool. Seems like using or finding variance both in your training but as well as your business is what's kept it balanced, and that's very cool. And on that note, 3 2 1 time.